For over 1,000 years, this country has been a Christian country. That is the dominant religion here. It has shaped our culture. We have churches all over the place. It always makes me sad to see the church in decline, church buildings falling into disrepair, some of them being converted into mosques, some of them into climbing walls. And it feels to me like the country as a whole has lost a grip on its moral compass. I was an atheist for a number of years, and I'm still kind of technically agnostic, I suppose. But something which I noticed coming from a Scandinavian background, in Norwegian, the word for good is go, spelled G-O-D. And that made me think, well, the word good and God are not that much difference. What if God is an an anthropomorphic way of describing the concept of goodness itself? And when you see wonderful old buildings, such as Inverness Cathedral here, it's a symbol. It makes you think the people who built that did it for a reason. Nothing is built like this anymore. Modern churches are more like McDonald's or a supermarket or something like that. And yeah, so mass immigration is a huge problem in this country, but it's not the only problem. There has been a societal decline coming from different directions for a very long time. But I would say that uncontrolled mass immigration, or basically another way of looking at it, is moving large populations from one part of the planet to another part of the planet at a rate where the existing population is unable to absorb the incoming population. There's a massive cultural difference, and therefore it would be a lot more sensible to calm it down a bit. And I'm in favor of the Restore Britain policy of abolishing the asylum system, or at least putting it on hold for a decade or so. Far too many foreign people have been let in far too quickly. We need to deal with that before we consider letting in any more. That would seem to be quite a practical, pragmatic way to look at it. But also there's a deep fundamental difference between Christianity and Islam in particular. And when you speak to Muslims, they consider the most, in a similar way to Christians, how they look at Jesus, saying, he was an example of a perfect human being. And I don't think many people could really argue with that. But Muhammad, he is supposed to be the perfect human being. Yet, he married a 6-year-old girl called Aisha, and he penetrated her, apparently, when she was 9. I have a 9-year-old daughter. The idea of some guy who's like my age or older doing that to her is abhorrent. That fills me with horror. And that, you have to wonder why. Why does that fill me with horror? And I think that has a lot to do with the culture that I grew up in. And so people who come from a different culture where the pinnacle of humanity is the Prophet Muhammad, who was, had a very different idea of what is and what isn't acceptable in terms of women and children. And you can see that it is a misogynistic culture. In Sharia law, as far as I understand, the sort of witness testimony value of a woman is half that of a man. But, we are importing that into our country. And that seems to me, to be extremely foolish. So, and so much has been done already. We've gone so far down this road already. Undoing that is not going to be easy. And I think a lot about the video that Rupert Lowe made when he introduced Restore Britain as a party rather than just a movement. And he said this is going to be incredibly hard. Millions must go, among other things. He also said, this is Britain. This is the way we do things. And I like that level of confidence. And I think we need to adopt that, to harness that, the energy, the enthusiasm, the patriotism, the confidence, to say, yes, people are welcome to come here to visit, and in some cases to make this their home, but we have existing rules and you need to abide by them. And respecting our women and children and putting them first, that's the way we do things. We don't abandon our women and children in war-torn countries and then make our way to other countries and claim to be asylum seekers. I'm referring, of course, to the hundreds of thousands of fighting-age males who have illegally entered the country across the Channel down in the south of England. Anyway, that's all I have to say just now. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.